Hi everyone, I'm Emily Cristobal, and here is my presentation for Module 5 discussing my case study of creating sustainable communities by bridging nature and infrastructure. In this module, we dived more into the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. In my research, I found that SDG 11 really ties into what I'm hoping to accomplish in my case study. SDG 11 focuses on making cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. This includes everything from creating affordable housing, implementing more public transportation, and public green spaces like parks and community gardens. This is an especially pressing issue as more than half of the world's population live in cities, and that number is expected to double by 2050. Furthermore, cities are vulnerable to the impacts of climate change as many are located in coastal areas. And for Hawaii, we are literally in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. These are some of the tasks that I hope to tackle in my case study. Under sustainable, I have increasing public transportation, reevaluating roadways, and restoring native ecosystems. And for unsustainable, I have the process of constructing mixed use affordable housing. First, I want to talk about public transportation. This is Honolulu's electric and autonomous rail line. It's named Skyline. This task is sustainable as it works to reduce the amount of cars on the road. According to data from the state, between 2009 and 2013, over 66% of people drove alone in their personal vehicles to work. While this data is from 10 years ago, it still rings true as the freeway and other main roads are regularly congested throughout the work week. By providing modes of transportation that not only are efficient, but actually take people where they need and want to go, my hope is that many more people would be more inclined to use it. While I do think the rail is sustainable, I believe adding solar panels to the actual station could potentially help power the structure, lights, kiosks, other facilities. Solar panels should also be added over park and ride areas. Integrating solar in general can further help generate energy as the power grid could become more strained by expanding this infrastructure. Re-evaluating roadways is also a crucial step toward sustainability as it increases safety for pedestrians and cyclists, but could also create more places for trees and other foliage. To bring out some statistics, 2023 was the deadliest year for cyclists in Hawaii. Thus, finding ways to actually make bike lanes safe is critical. Furthermore, by creating more space for pedestrians and cyclists, there's more space for people to get active. This could in turn reduce health risks like obesity and diabetes. In restoring ecosystems, we could integrate more native plants and traditional native Hawaiian practices to our current green spaces. For example, creating lo'i or taro patches could lead to community volunteer events. I think activities such as these are not only good for the environment, but also a great way for people to actually connect with the land and nature. Now to the unsustainable task. According to the UN, the buildings and construction sector is the largest emitter of greenhouse gases, accounting for nearly 40% of global emissions. This, matched with the production and use of materials such as cement, steel, and aluminum, further adds to its carbon footprint. While construction is a necessary part of development, emissions and harm could be reduced if the right steps are taken. Looking at Hawaii specifically, one idea that could work in making construction more sustainable is using wood from invasive species. The tree that could be the answer is Albizia. This is a highly invasive tree in Hawaii as it can grow really fast and can often cause destruction due to its shallow root system. It has a large canopy that often blocks sunlight and nutrients from lower lying vegetation that are often native species. One group on Oahu called the Albizia Project is already looking at ways to use these trees as lumber for construction, especially for much needed housing. Another idea is implementing modular construction, also known as prefab. Basically, modules are created in an offsite factory and put together like Legos to create homes or buildings at the construction site. Modular also allows for the opportunity of reuse. One company called iMod Systems has created modules the shape of masking containers to create schools, which could then be taken apart to make housing or even a hospital. While there are many benefits, the one big caveat is that prefab factories would have to be in the vicinity of construction. Without a nearby facility, costs and emissions of transportation would increase. Overall, while construction and development can be seen as inherently unsustainable, I believe this type of development and shift is essential in order to move towards sustainability. Whether it be updating our current infrastructure or even creating new multi use housing projects, it is important to take into account the bigger picture, how people and the environment are impacted, and how we can reduce our overall production and consumption. It's looking at not only the health of humans, but also the natural world and how our daily activities affect the system as a whole. Thank you so much for listening to this. Have a good one.